does the importation based on the approval. But what I understand happened, and is what happens all the time, is that the person making the application goes to the dealer, and then the dealer sends it to the commissioner. And then you're hearing some nonsense from the media magnate Gary Griffith, MMGG, that Mr. Best was importing the weapon for the Defense Force. Really? Where's the evidence of Mr. Griffith that Mr. Best, who is now a civilian, has the authority to import or to seek importation for the Defense Force of anything at all, much less prohibited weapons? I think somebody trying to create a defense for somebody. But the question will have to be asked as well. How did the Defense Force get involved in the procurement of these weapons after Mr. Best, who is supposed to be a civilian, actually is the one making the request? Did everyone get together and decide to co-opt the application of Mr. Best into a process of normal procurement, and the commissioner approved it? Was the commissioner aware of the difference between Mr. Best, who is supposed to be a civilian, unless they are saying that clandestinely he is still a member of the Defense Force and operating for and on behalf of the Defense Force in terms of procurement? Now, this is where the rubber hits the road. If Mr. Best did not receive the weapons, what can he be charged for? It can only be what was being discussed as attempt to pervert the course of justice, meaning that it is possible that the commissioner herself or Mr. Best attempted to remove, destroy, or somehow fix the documents that are in the case that were used to import the weapons, and then therefore that in itself will be an obstruction of justice and perverting the course of justice. And it's a clear instance, if that had happened, because I have no evidence before me right now that it in fact happened. I have indications and inferences which could be dealt with further on. This will be a case of the cover-up being worse than the crime. So there's a lot of things happening as this ball keeps rolling. But don't listen to Gary Griffith and his excuses, because I am still concerned about electronic signatures being used during his time, and people signing on behalf of the commissioner during his time, which has resulted in those investigations being slowed, halted, or stopped somewhat. But if they go after Erla in this, I would ask the question, what about Gary? And what happened to the evidence in that case? And how was it able that mistakes that were made during those times did not lead to a prosecution? All things being equal. This is Wayne Hade, the Watchman. Look out for part 2 on the relationships or lack thereof within the executive of the TTPS.